Hey, I'm Daniel and welcome to a quick solo playthrough of Neon Rain. This video is part of my first impression series where I try each of the 12 different heroes, and I will probably follow it up with a full review once I see how everything plays out. And well, enjoy the play. Alright, so today we have Rainboom against Sunshine. The star ability of Rainboom is called Sonic. For 5 stars it deals 3 damage and a bunch of other things. 1 shield token, 1 star, 1 strike and 1 heal. And for the passive effect we have Scattered. If you play buttons of different colors, add 1 damage. Now for the opponent, the star ability is called Starlight. For 5 stars it deals 4 damage and 1 star back. And for the passive effect we have Solar Flare. If any buttons are played when defending, add 1 damage. So it looks like both of these heroes are damage dealing types of characters, and I guess we'll see who's gonna deal more damage first. Now as always, let me shuffle the decks on camera just to make sure that the fight is completely unscripted and fair and transparent and random as you can get. So I'm shuffling my player's deck. Now I'm gonna shuffle the opponent's solo deck as well, so everything is clear and we'll make sure that I'm playing fairly. So that should do it, I guess. Now I'm drawing 7 cards to my hands, and so you could see them. I'm gonna place them like that rather than holding in my hand. So that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let's see what we can do. Now we already have buttons of different colors, so I guess I could play those buttons right away, but you know what, I think just combining those 2 buttons will actually deal more damage, of course provided that the opponent not gonna use combo breaker or blocks or things of that sort, of course, which is very possible at the beginning of the game. So yeah, these are the 3 cards that I'm playing, hoping for some combos, but let's see who actually managed to land those. The opponent is defending with 2 cards, and yeah, we have a block right away, and I'm flipping 2 cards, and that is so because I'm playing on the hard mode, so I'm gonna resolve both of those defense cards. So one of my buttons is completely blocked, and in that sense it wouldn't make a difference if I played another button instead, but at least I can still resolve this one too. So I'm gaining 1 star, I'm doing strike, so forcing the opponent to discard the top card from the deck, and look at that, we have a throw here, which is very good, and I'm also dealing 3 damage because of the combo, bringing the opponent down to 22, but I'm also taking 2 damage myself because of this counter attack, so I'm now at 23. It wasn't too good, but I guess someone expected. Alright, now back to the opponent. It is attacking with a single card, and that is pretty much the same as I played. That would be 3 damage, or 2 damage actually, sorry. But the question is, do I want to play this block now? And you know what? I think I'm probably gonna save blocks for something worse, but actually before that I just realized the passive ability Solar Flare, because we played button on the defense I should have had 1 damage, so I apologize for that. So that means I'm now down to 22 as well, so we have equal score. I apologize for the oversight, and now back to this turn. I think I'm gonna add this joystick, hopefully trigger my star ability quicker. Alright, so first the opponent is resolving their joystick, gaining 1 star, 1 strike, also 2 damage, so I'm now down to 20. Now I'm resolving my joystick, gaining 1 star and healing for 1 health. And that is the end of enemy's attack. Now back to me, and looking at this hand, I'm definitely gonna draw back to 7, so that would be 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, we have a good arrangement with assortment of different joysticks. Alright, back to the opponent's attack again, and yeah, I think this time I'm definitely gonna use block, otherwise the opponent would gain a bunch of shields, which I definitely don't want to do that, so I'm gonna use my block, and I also think I'm gonna play this left joystick, because remember that you can play this joystick in defense to again hopefully gaining some extra stars. Alright, so I guess first the opponent is resolving their joysticks, so they gained 3 stars because of the combo, so this is pretty bad, but there's nothing I could do about this anyway, and they also gain 2 shield tokens as well. I'm resolving my joystick, I'm also gaining 1 star and healing for 1 health, so I'm now up to 22 again. That was the end of the enemy's attack turn. Alright, now let's see what I can do. I have buttons of different colors, so I guess I could add those 2 to attack, because otherwise what's the point of keeping them in my hand? And now the question is, what joystick would I add to this attack as well? If I add the right joystick, that would be potentially be 2 extra damage, of course provided that I would actually land those joystick, but with this joystick that is potentially up to 5 stars, which would be enough to fire off my star ability, and this is also independent from the combo breaker, so you know what, I think this actually would be a better play this turn. So yeah, this is what I'm playing. Fingers crossed that we're not gonna see any throws here, and we have a button and a throw. Dang it, that means no stars for me at all. Wow, this is pretty bad, but at least I can deal 4 damage with those 2 combos, with those 2 buttons, and because of my passive scattered ability, so that that is 4 damage, but 2 of them is prevented with a shield token, so I'm dealing only 2 damage, bringing the opponent down to 20. And the same for the opponent, it is counterattacking with a single button, and because of the passive ability it turns into 2 damage, so I'm now down to 20 as well. Wow, that throw here was really unlucky, but hey. So my attack is resolved, now back to the opponent, and in just a single joystick, but that is enough to trigger their ability, and it looks like I have nothing to prevent this from happening anyway. So yeah, they're just gaining 1 shield token and firing off their ability and gaining 1 star back, so I'm essentially just removing those 3, and I'm taking 4 damage because of this ability, so I'm bringing myself down to 16 health. Wow, that is quite brutal. Now back to my turn, and I'm definitely gonna draw back to 7, so that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, back to opponent's attack, and we have another, the same down joystick, and you know what, I think this time I'm gonna add my joystick to this as well, because I want to trigger my ability as quick as I can, so yeah, definitely adding this one to defense. So first resolving the opponents, gaining 1 shield token and 1 star, and I'm also gaining 1 star and 1 shield token as well. Alright, now back to my attack turn, and let's see what I can do. I have some arrangement, some assortment of different choices I could use, and I think this time I need only 1 single star because that would be enough to fire off my ability. So you know what, I think I'm just gonna play those 2 buttons alongside this right joystick, so that is some potentially 4 extra damage, or actually rather 3 extra damage, and that would be 5 in total, but of course we'll see what the opponent is blocking with. And we have a block, and we have a throw. Oh my, both of them, all of my joysticks again. Wow, that means my both joystick and a button just completely prevented. That means I'm only playing a single button, and even that is prevented with the shield token, so I'm dealing completely nothing essentially. Wow, that was brutal, these counter cards. Alright, now the opponent is attacking again, and that is 3 damage. Now the question is, do I want to block this? And you know what, I think the answer is probably not. I would rather save this for something worse, because there are definitely some worse cards that's still in the deck. So that means I'm taking 3 damage, but I'm preventing 1 with the shield tokens. I'm taking 2, bringing myself down to 14 health. Wow, this score doesn't look too good. Alright, now back to me, and looking at this hand, I'm definitely gonna draw again, so that is 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is the end of my turn. Now the opponent is attacking, and we have quite a lot of healing with this, so you know what, I think I'm gonna add combo breaker this time, probably alongside this red button, and that's it. I will still take some damage of course, but at least I'm gonna prevent the opponent from healing 2 extra health. So first I'm resolving my counter card and dealing 2 damage with this button, so 1 is prevented with a shield token and 1 goes through, which means the opponent is down to 19 health. Then of course it heals back because of the joystick, so it's up to 20 again, and it also gains 1 star and is dealing 2 damage, so I'm now down to 12 health. Wow, isn't very healthy. So that was my defense turn. Now on the attack turn, I think I'm gonna just play those 2 buttons of different color alongside this up joystick. I think we've already seen 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3 throws here, so I would say now it's pretty unlikely that this joystick would be countered, but of course we'll see. Yep, there is nothing here, and here we have 2 buttons, so this is pretty bad because that is some extra damage, but hey, at least I'm finally triggering off my star ability, so I'm gaining 2 stars, and I'm removing 5 because my ability is firing off, dealing 3 unblockable damage, so I'm bringing the opponent down to 17, and I'm also gaining 1 shield token, 1 star. I'm doing strike and healing for 1 health, so I'm now at 13. Right, that wasn't too bad. And now also dealing 4 damage because those buttons have different colors, so that is 4 extra damage, so the opponent is down to 13 health. But I'm also taking 3 damage back because of this passive ability, so I'm now down to 11 health because 1 of this is prevented with the shield token. So yeah, things still look pretty scary to me, to be honest, but at least I managed to fire off my ability at least once. Alright, now back to the opponent's attack, and yeah, this is the scary card, and this is what I was saving my block for. Wow, so I'm definitely gonna block off 1 of those buttons to essentially break the combo as well, but that is still 4 damage. Wow, that is still a lot, which brings me down to just 7 health. Oh my, yeah. This is resolved, and I have just a single throw in my hand, so I'm definitely gonna throw, draw Sora back to 7, so that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I was hoping for some joysticks that I could have played in defense, so this isn't particularly good looking hand, I would say. Alright, now the opponent's attacking with a single joystick, and you know what, even though I could use my throw, I'm probably not gonna use this. Yeah, probably save it for something worse. So that means the opponent is healing up to 14 and gaining 1 star, and this is pretty bad because there is now 4 stars, which is about to trigger their ability. Oh wow. Alright, now back to me, and I think I'm gonna try to gain as much stars as I can, even though this doesn't deal any combo, doesn't deal anything extra. I think I'm still gonna play those 3 cards, because if I manage to land both of these joysticks, I'll gain 3 stars, which will be enough to trigger my ability, and that is some extra defense, extra healing, so that is what I'm hoping for. Alright, now the opponent is defending with 2 cards as usual, nothing here, very lucky, nothing here as well. Wow, that is really good. That means I'm gaining 3 stars, so that means I'm now at 5, it means my ability is 5 enough, dealing 3 damage, bringing the opponent down to 11, and of course I should remove all of those stars. And I'm also gaining 1 shield, 1 star back, 1 strike, and 1 heal. I'm also doing 1 more strike because of this card, so this is like that, and I'm also dealing 3 damage because of this combo, so bringing the opponent down to 8 health as well. Wow, look at this score. Alright, this wasn't too bad, I guess. So this is resolved, so my attack as well. And now the opponent is attacking again, and that is a combo of 3 damage. Now the question is, should I use my block here? Should I save it for something potentially worse? And you know what, I think I'm gonna use this block right away, even though, as I said, there are still some worse cards, at least one of them probably in the deck, but this block will still save me from some 2 damage. So yeah, that means the opponent is the only thing it does. It deals 1 damage, which I'm preventing with this shield token, so I'm taking no damage, which is good. And now back to my turn, and I'm gonna draw up to 7 again, so that is 4, 5, 6, 7, and no defensive joysticks again. Wow, this hand doesn't look particularly good, I would say. Alright, now the opponent's turn, and yeah, this is the card that I was talking about when I thought that I should save my block for that, and wow, that is a lot of damage. That is 6 damage from the buttons alone, plus 1 extra because of the combo, so that is 7 damage, wow, and I have absolutely no cards that I could play in defense, except the throw, which doesn't help this much. Wow, that means I'm just taking 7 damage, oh my, bringing my health down to 1. Oh, wow. Okay, now my turn again, and it looks like I just have one option of just brute forcing and defeating hopefully the opponent before that I'm defeated myself. Alright, so I think these are 3 cards that I'm gonna play. There's not much options going on anyway, and I guess I could swap this red button with the green button, but I would say this version is slightly more resistant to some blocks or combo breakers. Alright, so the opponent is, yep, we have block here, and let's see, and we have damage here, which would be 2 damage, and that is enough for me. Wow, and it looks like I have no way of preventing that damage because I have no shields and no healing whatsoever. That means I am KO. Wow, yeah, that was brutal. And that's it for today's session. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're curious to see more characters in action or hear my full thoughts later on, feel free to subscribe. And if you would like to support the channel more directly, you can do this over on Patreon, and I would appreciate this a lot as well. And well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.